Hey friends, I am back again. We are here for Favorites with Friends on Wednesdays, and today I'm here, or I will soon be here, with my friend Katie Reid. Um, I've had some technical difficulties, which is mainly me not knowing what I'm doing. Thankfully, and she will be here with us in just a moment. Oh, finally!
Hey, we did it.
Oh my word. As soon as we are finished today, I am going to write down exactly what we did because every week people that I talk with have different technology available to them. And then, like you said, like Facebook changes things, when they feel like it.
Hey, hey, listen, Adam and I have been doing our show for 3 years and we still run into things like this. And I think
Oh my gosh.
it's because it's going to be a great conversation and there's opposition, right? So we persevered, we're here.
Yes. Yes, that is exactly it. Yeah, 2 weeks ago, I talked with Kelly Bellari, and she's like, you know what? This is going to come together exactly when it needs to. So here we are.
Thanks for
Well,
having
thank
me.
you for joining me.
Sorry.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. All right, I'm all settled in. And then I had to figure out how to get my phone to anyway, here we are.
Hey, I forgot my tripod, so I've got a couple Bibles and a Kleenex box, so we are really professional today.
Yep, it's my big cup of water sitting behind my phone because I also did not have my tripod handy. So that's all right. We're making it work.
That's right.
Yes. All right. So, as I said, this is my friend Katie, and she is here to talk about one of her favorites. So, Katie, I'm just going to jump right in and ask, what is your favorite show right now? Or if you prefer, book or movie.
Okay, well, I had show in mind, and then when you throw the book and movie, I'm like, oh my goodness. So I'm just gonna go with the show. I feel like it is not original, but I feel like if you're a fan, you're a fan. So This Is Us. Like, can I say a couple reasons why I love this?
Please tell me because I actually don't watch it. Believe it or not, I don't watch it. So tell me why I should.
Well, I remember you saying like it's sad, right? So there's like I like
Yes.
ugly cry every episode, probably more than once.
Oh, I just can't.
But here's the thing, like as a writer, I love the writing. I mean, these
Mm,
people writing these episodes, wow. But it's not just the writing, right? Because you can have great writing and lousy acting. Not in This Is Us.
true.
The acting and the writing are this beautiful marriage that makes you a hot mess. But here's some of the reasons. So, fun fact, the main character's name is Kate Pearson. My maiden name as well, spelled the same way. So, Katie
So
Pearson.
crazy.
So that's okay, one of the zillion reasons. Another reason is, hey John, happy 40th birthday. I see people tuning in here. Um, Another reason is we adopted one of our 5 children, and it was a transracial adoption, and so that is part of the storyline. And there's so many times where they put words to things in a way I have felt and maybe didn't have the guts to express for fear of judgment or misunderstanding. I remember watching one particular episode where Jack Pearson is the dad, and he's trying to make a schooling decision for his adopted son. And he goes to another African American woman and says, Jack is Caucasian. He goes to African American neighbor and he's like, basically, tell me what to do. And she says
Mm,
something to the fact of, I see what you're trying to do here. Like, basically, you're the dad, like, but he's just trying to get her approval because he feels insecure in his decision. And I'm
right.
bawling, watch it with my mom. I'm like, that's exactly how I feel. In fact, like when our son was first born, I would go up to anyone that looked like him to try to get hair tips and skin tips because I just wanted to do right by his community.
Right.
So that's the reason
Yeah.
I love singing, and Mandy Moore sings and Kate sings, and they have their problems, so it's just such good writing, such good acting. There are times, like,
Yeah.
we usually watch it later than when it's on, like we watch it online, and there are times where I cannot watch it yet. Like, I'll know if I'm already feeling like down, I'll have to put it off because I know
Right.
it's going to take me to the depths of my emotions.
Right. Right. Yes. Yeah, I have that same sort of relationship with my DVR because I always go through the comedies first because that's easy. That is not a hardship in my life. But I actually have so I would like to note I was watching Suits well before Meghan Markle ever met her prince. But I have a whole season on my DVR because it's an intense show, and so I love it. But I've also just let it kind of languish on my DVR because um, it is really intense. And of course, this last season there were characters saying goodbye, and I was like, I can't with the drama. I just need. I'm gonna go back to Netflix and watch happy endings all over again, or watch Friends reruns on Nick at Night.
Mary, what's like your go-to happy show? Like, do you have one that you watch over and over?
Um, I don't really have one because I am like I mean not always in life, but like a completer when it
Uh-huh.
comes to movies or books or TV.
Right.
So I recently rewatched all of New Girl,
Gotcha.
and I am kind of in the middle of rewatching all of Happy Endings. I thought I was going to rewatch The Office again with my husband, but he was like, I can't go back. I can't. It's too awkward. It's like, but remember, it gets good.
Well, my husband and I we just started. We just got done with season 1 of The Office again because it's been a long time.
Yes.
I just needed to laugh. And so the first season
Yeah.
is so awkward. Like, Michael's
Mm-hmm.
hair is
It really
awful.
is.
But I told my husband, it's a little much, but I almost like it now going back because they're definitely not trying too hard. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, that is true. That is really true.
But we were just hackling, and our house echoes like, just a second. Our house echoes, and our TV is against like my daughter's wall to her bedroom.
Oh, that's so hard.
Like, you guys were laughing so hard. I mean, sometimes you just need to laugh, so you're kind of making it more
Yes.
funny than it is. That's
Yeah.
what you're doing. Because we got through Parks
Yeah.
and Rec a while ago.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, let's go back to The Office. There's so many episodes. So
Yeah.
we're trying to have an open mind, even though some of the episodes are more familiar, than others. But
Yeah.
anyway, it's
Yeah.
to laugh hard.
I think if I go back to anything where I'm not like rewatching from start to finish, then it's usually a sitcom that I didn't watch in order in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
Like I can watch any Seinfeld rerun at any time because I didn't watch it in order to start with.
That makes sense.
And like Will and Grace always makes me laugh, even though it's so outlandish. But I didn't watch it from start to finish in the beginning, so it doesn't matter which one I land on.
Yeah.
Same thing for Friends, really.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, there's definitely a value. I do understand why people love This Is Us. And I watched the first few episodes and it is good. It really is. But for me it was too much, but I totally get why other people love it.
Right. Well, here's the thing. I would say, I would just think about this morning. The first episode was not my favorite. Like, I think they tried to like put everything all in there. Like, it's still good, but I feel like it just keeps getting, better and better. And of course, like, it's one of those shows, just like Downton Abbey, that you have to start from the beginning. Like, you've got to commit to the characters, because otherwise, like my sister said to me, she goes, everyone's just crying all the time on This Is Us. Like, I'm like, yeah, I can see why you think that. But here's a funny story. So
Right.
we like The Crown too,
Mm-hmm.
except like episode, I think it's 7 of season 2, scandalous. Just don't even watch it. We were like, what in the
I
world?
have heard.
Oh my goodness. I like warn everyone.
I've heard both ways. I've heard people say don't watch that one, or I've heard people say if you watch nothing else, watch that one.
No. Who are
You
these
know.
people, Mary? Who are these people? But here's the thing, like, I'm careful about like endorsing a show. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, especially,
Yeah.
you know. And so I'm always like, don't watch that one. It's just like with Sherlock. It's like, don't watch episode 3 of whatever. But
Right.
but here's the funny thing about The Crown. So we may or may not be on a joint Netflix situation. I will not confirm or deny.
Mm-hmm.
And so someone
Mm-hmm.
had started watching The Crown, but we didn't know. And so I started in on like episode at least 4 or 7 of the first season, but I didn't know. So I just like jumped in, and then I told my husband, like, this is a good show. You got to watch it with me. And then we realized like we missed like all the part before she was 20. So that was awkward. So we went back and we're like, oh, that's what they're talking about. So apparently that one you could jump in. Sheesh.
That's so funny you say that. When I talked with Michael and Smith, and she said that she started watching Victoria. She watched the second season before the first one. And she's like, I kind of actually liked it that way, because then it, you know, she said it explained everything once she watched it.
Sorry, was that on TV or Netflix?
It's on TV. It's on Amazon Prime, because it's a PBS BBC thing.
Yeah. Okay, because I missed that wagon, and I wish I saw Victoria on Netflix, like the movie that was a couple hours, but I want to see like the series.
Yeah, I've watched the first season and I really liked it. I found The Crown to be very slow. And it's soapier than The Crown, so it doesn't feel like a history book, even though it is.
Yes. Gotcha.
So, I like it. All right, well, speaking of books.
Wah, wah, wah.
You've just birthed a baby. Yes, I was so excited to finally get it in the mail. And I have been saying that this book has one of my favorite and the most interesting twists that I've ever read, because honestly, my entire life, all 39 years, I've been told that Martha is bad and Mary is good.
I hear you.
And this book by my friend Katie Reid, called Made Like Martha, Good News for the Woman Who Gets Things Done, says differently. And I know that that's not what Jesus says. I know that's not what the Bible says. And probably not what most sermons or articles or Bible studies have actually been trying to say to me, but that's what I heard. What I heard my whole life was, don't be like you, be this other way. Don't be type A, don't make a list, just sit and be, which I'm kind of an extremes person, so sometimes I do definitely go to that other far extreme. But yeah, I love this perspective that you have. So tell us about your book. It just came out.
Well, let me pause for just a second. So Mary endorsed my book. You might not know this about Mary, but she edited my first book, which was a memoir that 4 people have in a spiral bound copy. It's going to be worth millions.
And I love it.
Anyway, and Mary, your endorsement almost brought me to tears. It was one of my favorites because you say it much more eloquently than I do, and everyone will have to just get a copy to read it verbatim. But basically, she said, someone just gave me permission to be me. And that there has been a handful of people that I've been friends with online for a while and who are wired very similar to me. And when I've heard you guys say that this book helped you, that has made it all worth it. All the blood, sweat, and tears. Because I want freedom for those of us who felt horrible for how we were made.
Yeah.
And so yeah, in Christian circles for sure. Like the story of Mary Martha in the Bible, it's like naughty Martha. That, she's, and here's the thing, she was serving her guests, which in the Middle East is like you do whatever for your guests, right?
Mm-hmm.
You give them, the best stuff. And so she was doing
Yeah.
what she was supposed to do, right? But she was doing it out of this place of fret. And so Jesus was
Right.
telling her, and here's the thing, like I hear it like this, like Martha, Martha, like with a pointing finger. And my friend,
Right.
my
Right.
friend Jill said the other day, what if he loved her so much he said her name twice? Do you know what I mean? Like cupped her face, like
Yeah.
Martha, Martha. Like, I don't think he was asking her to stop cooking dinner unless he was going to multiply loaves and fish. I mean, if nobody cooked, no one was going
Right.
to eat. Maybe they're going to fast.
Right.
You never know. But
You never know.
I think he was telling her, you don't have to even sit down physically right now, but I want you to rest on the inside. You can serve from a place of peace and settledness
Right.
instead of striving and fret, because you're already loved. You don't have to complete 50 things on your to-do list. That doesn't affect my love for you. And so that changed a lot. And in fact, it gets me like ticked off that so many of us have been duped. I think we've added words to what Jesus said. He just said to her, you're worried and bothered, but Mary's chosen the better thing in this situation, right? He didn't say Mary was better. It's just like, with our kids, if one of them doesn't run across the road without looking and one does, one of them has made a better choice, right? But that doesn't mean that child we love them more, or they're, and so it gives me this fire in my belly of like, I just want to say to women, like, listen, the enemy has deceived us into thinking there's something wrong with being made like Martha. In fact, in John, I think it's John 10 or 12, Martha serves Jesus, and he doesn't correct her. So obviously she learned to serve from this place of peace. But I think what everyone needs to realize, whether you serve from a place of stress and fret or peace and settledness, it still doesn't affect his love. He already loves you more than you could ever imagine. And so I think that's where women like us who get things done and are wired that way, we can rest knowing whether that list gets done or not. Even if I have a bad attitude, God still loves me. He settled that on the cross.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that. And I love what you said about freedom. And I think, I don't know if we've talked about this, but looking at this story and this truth from a different perspective not only gives me freedom as a Martha, but it gives me freedom in a relational way, because in my own journey, and I think I'm probably not alone, I have written about giving up on perfect, and that's sort of a Mary Martha thing, about being a perfectionist, being type A. And as I have made small steps toward giving up on perfection, I have then judged other people who haven't. Right. So then I see people who are more of a Martha than I am right now, and I think, well, too bad you haven't learned all these lessons that I have learned, which is not really the point, And so I think that this gives us freedom, to accept how we were made and how much we are loved, but also when looking at each other, because God made us all differently, and he's working on each one of us at a different pace, in a different way, and we can't see that, and we should not be judgmental, Mary Carver. And so I just think that is so helpful as women in community, as women serving one another and doing it differently.
Well, absolutely.
So I just think it's great.
And I think it gives us compassion for how people that are wired like Mary are as well. Like, there's nothing wrong with being made like Mary either. And in fact, like, I had a friend come over the other day and help me clean my fridge, which happens usually once a year during IF gathering. Like, I live stream it and clean my fridge. Sometimes twice a year if something spills, but like, she came over and helped me do that. Thank goodness for my Martha friend, right? But then I had another friend the other day who sat and prayed with me and listened. She's a Mary friend. Like, the world needs both types, right? And then we talk about this in the book. There's Martha wired people that struggle with chronic illness, and they want to do things and they can't do them because they don't have the strength and energy to. And I love one of my friends, Rachel, shares about that. She said, God requires me to serve him with the strength he's given me, not the strength I wish I had. And I think that we have a whole, like, I'm a person that about 2 o'clock every day, I hit a wall. I'm not hitting a wall now because we're talking and having fun, but like, I usually need like a 20-minute nap, or I get achy and tired. And I am not nicey to my family. And there's some other women I know, they're like the Energizer Bunny. And so I feel, for years, I felt like there's something wrong with me. But as I've gotten a little more mature, you know, I've realized this is part of my wiring. And I don't need to apologize for it. I need to be able to say, I need a nap, and to be secure in that and not feel like less than a woman because I can't, you know, be nice to everyone all day and get 500 things done at once. So I think it gives you grace for yourself and grace for those around you. Like, not all Mary or Marthas are created the same, but we're all created by God. And he cemented worth into ourselves before we could lift a finger, before we could complete a line item. And so I think when we get a hold of that, it's just like, we're not such messes, maybe.
And even if we are, it's okay.
That's right. I've made it real complicated for most of my life. So when did you say you're 39? When do you turn 40?
In December.
Okay. I have to tell you, I think I did maybe tell you, 40, I was like, it sounded like scary. Literally, I turned 40 and God switched a light bulb. And I think Brene Brown wrote about this the other day. It literally, something happens and you really stop caring about what people think. Like, you don't turn into like a wench, but I feel like a better version of yourself because you're just not trying to prove yourself anymore, you know? But it's not like you just let yourself go to pot, you know, but it's just this invigorating thing. Now, I will say, now I'm 41, and then all of a sudden, you know, back fat showing up, and all these, my eyes, you know, I need a stronger prescription, and I've changed nothing. You know, all of a sudden, like, all these things. I want to talk to my friends about their, like, health woes now, like my mom used to.
Right.
But I'm
like, what vitamins are you taking?
Yeah. Anyways, but I will say, like, I think, you know, and it's not that 40 is a magic number. Although I was thinking, didn't the Israelites wander around for 40 years, you know, and then they got to the promised land? So you're almost to the promised land there.
Almost there. That's awesome. Well, thank you so much for telling us about your book, but also enduring my technology my technology challenges, and almost convincing me to try This Is Us again. I want to make sure everyone knows that they can. Oh yeah, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, if you try it again though, like, get through the first season. Like, don't give up till you get to the end of the first season. So you got to be all in.
Well, as a completer, it does burn me a little that I started the first season and didn't finish. So I should do that. Okay, so where can people find you online? Where's the best place for them to find you?
KatieMReid.com, and it's REID. And actually, if it's okay if I say this, we're starting a book club with Made Like Martha that starts on Tuesday. Awesome. There's a Facebook group called Made Like Martha Sisterhood. And we're going to go through the book, and I have guests that are going to host. It's going to be so much fun. And so if people want to pick up a copy of the book, grab a girlfriend or two and join us. If they just go to KatieMReid.com and look at my blog, it has all the details. And here's a secret fun fact. If you go to MadeLikeMartha.com, you can read the first chapter today for free. So you can get a taste and see if it's for you.
Nice. That is
Thanks
awesome.
so much for having me,
thank
Mary.
you so much. This has been fun, and I will talk to you soon.
Sounds good. Thanks.
Bye,
Mary.
guys. Bye, Katie.